Welcome to Bag F, a three-part assembly. Bag 1 will deal with the rear hub and CVA assembly. Bag 2 will be rear camber links. And Bag 3, the rear tower and wing mount. As always, let's start out by cutting our plastic bags, removing our contents, placing it down on the table or the mat or the towel that you may have, so we have complete access to all the parts needed for this build. Be mindful to not lose anything, as they all are essential in the build process. Take heed and refer to your manual as always, as it's greatly illustrated. We're going to be starting off with the rear hub. Grab your insert and pay close attention to where the arrows are pointing. As I said before, follow the guide, as it greatly helps. Select the insert at the bottom with the hole positioned to the center. This is the standard setup we're going with. Let's place our bearings in. The larger one goes inside, the smaller one goes on the outside. And then we'll fix our ball link into the spacer and insert that into the top of the hub, being mindful about the positioning of the ball link in relation to the arrow. Get your hex driver and your hex nut driver, hold one in and get the twisting on the other. Once you've completed one, let's move on and let's complete both. And there we have the hubs complete. Moving on, we will now assemble the CVAs. Grabbing your drive shaft, let's insert the little pin followed by the hub axle and an insert pin to hold it all in place. Be mindful that a bit of grease here can help keep things positioned correctly. Let's insert that hub drive shaft into the completed hub, followed by a pin at the end of it, and then we attach our hex hub with a little bit of thread lock positioned on the set screw to keep it intact and keep it in place. It is metal on metal. And let's spin to check for any binding, and we've completed the CVA assembly. Let's do the same thing to the other side. Start by inserting the hub axle through the hub, followed by the pin, followed by the hex hub, followed by the set screw inside of the hex hub to lock it all in place. And twist. And there we've completed the CVA assembly. Moving on, we're going to pay close attention to the hub, the curvature of the hub, and how it relates to the rear suspension arms and the placement of. Here we want to insert two plastic spacers in the rear and one in the front when placing our hub inside of the suspension arm. Inserting our pin, there is a set screw there that helps to hold the pin in place. Once again, I can't stress this enough, be mindful of the curvature of the hub to let you know whether it goes on the left side or the right side. Bag F, we're going to deal with our camber links. Make sure that we pay close attention to where the little notch is drawn, as it has to face to the left side of the car. Let's get our digital calipers out and be as precise as we can when selecting the correct geometry for these. Be mindful that one is threaded forward and the other in the rear. I like to create these little jigs to help ease the tension of constantly cramping down and causing cramps in your wrist and so forth. So this helps greatly. Get a vise, get a screwdriver as you start to thread. Just twist, and it's just super easy to get the camber link in place. And once it's in place, follow that up with the digital calipers just to kind of check your work and make sure everything's appropriate. With the shock tower, we're going with the middle position for the screws, which we're going to hold and house the shocks, the top of the shocks. Same thing with the bottom piece. We're going to attach our ball link, followed by the flange nut on the rear side of it. Paying good close attention to tightening down greatly, but not too tight. Tightening down on the nuts on the shock tower is pertinent and important, as we don't want these loosening up on us. So let's tighten down good on those. Let's insert our camber links into the ball into the camber link, however you'd like to say it. The point is to get it looking like that. Once these two have been adjusted and fixed, let's insert that onto the rear hub. Starting first by clamping down the ball link to the camber link. Follow that up with the shock tower, lining up the holes. Here you can use a handheld driver or the electric driver. Electric drivers are faster. Mine is put away, and so I just opted to do a lot of hand tightening, but I am experiencing a lot of cramping as a result. Once you've done screwing in the last bits of screws, you've completed the rear hub assembly and CVA assembly.